morning, everyone. I see it's 11 o'clock on the dot. Thanks for joining us today. We are recording it so everyone knows. It's great to see you, Muriel, and Anne and Colin. Thanks for joining, Nancy. Just so everybody knows, the call is recorded. So even if we don't get a huge amount of cooperation attendance, we'll definitely be sharing the recording. I'm not sure who got noise in the background. Maybe we can mute our lines so that we don't get much interference. Okay. It is gone, effectively gone. So today's coffee chat, we just kind of left it as a broad discussion that we wanted to be here as Hasmark and open up an opportunity to talk about things we've got going on. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And the Hasmark team, for the most part, is here. Aisha's here, who's not feeling that well. So if she disappears off screen, it's understandable. And we can thank the vaccination for that, if you don't mind that I said that out loud. But I just want everybody to know if you're kind of quiet or go off screen, it's because you're not feeling well. So it's completely understandable, and hope that you're feeling better. Aisha is now in charge of the production along with Jenna. But her goal is to get your books through our system. So at any time you have any problems with your book, she's here. Even after your book is published, we're happy to come back and help you through, getting your book done. I have a funny feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more people joining the call, as well as joining us throughout our progression, because we're getting a lot of new people signing up, which is phenomenal. Dave, I'm just doing the Hollywood squares. So I'm just trying to make sure I introduce everybody to you guys. In case you haven't met, most have. Yeah. Dave is our IT and marketing guy.
Hi.
He's actually getting a little more transition to the IT because of the fact that we have so many new processes in place. And there's so many exciting, wonderful things happening at Hasmark.
Very exciting, yes.
Yeah. Dave has a tendency to be with me as ideas get generated. So and that's where we are right now. So thanks, Dave, for jumping on the call. Talita's beside you in my Hollywood squares, and Talita's the newest member besides our new editors that just joined in the last couple of days. But Talita is now actually effectively yesterday full-time with us. So thank you for joining us. She is doing an incredible job for social media. She has us on TikTok. I never thought I would be on TikTok at this point, honestly, and I won't say any more than that about age or any referral like that, because to me, TikTok belonged to someone who was 12. That's where my head was. Sorry if I upset anyone, but so the fact that she can get us on TikTok, she can get anybody on TikTok. So she's doing an incredible job on the social media and growing us. And she's here to help anybody throughout their author journey too, if they've got questions about social media. And then she's also now joined the marketing team, and she's helping to get folks' background done for them too, as a gift from us. I see Kelly's using hers and it looks amazing. I love the rainbow.
Yeah.
I always loved your book cover, but I love the background with the rainbow. So, and Jenna is, I think everybody knows who Jenna is. She's actually officially, and I missed it. Oh my goodness. It was a year anniversary yesterday, Jenna. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I feel like you've been here for about 5 years, and she's never leaving us, because family, you just, they're always here. So Jenna is on, it feels like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She never misses a thing. She is here to help the authors through your entire process, because she's not only in the publication part of it, but she's also in the marketing side of things too, because we needed her to get over here and organize the marketing, and she's done a phenomenal job at that. So thank you, Jenna.
Thank you.
And Kelly is here. She's with us for a couple different things. She's our social media branding expert, and she's doing a phenomenal job. And she also is something new we're going to be introducing to Hasmark very soon. I'm super, super excited, but we won't talk about it too much yet. It's killing me not to talk about it yet, but hopefully you'll hear about something new and exciting that we're creating for Hasmark. We're always in the creation process, but Kelly has stepped up on this part of the business. So once we introduce it, for a little while, we'll give you a little bits about it, but not yet. Not yet. So stay tuned for something new and exciting that she's got going on.
Right now, she's just our best kept secret.
She is, exactly. And you're welcome. And Jen is here. Everybody knows her. She is by far the longest standing employee of Hasmark. She was an employee before I was. So she has been with us for, I think, 13 or 14 years now. So she started about 13 or 14, just as if anyone wants to do the math of her age, because there's no way she's,
So she was 6 when she started. So
yeah,
let's do the math.
Add it up. Although I don't know how she has a son the age she has, but anyways, we won't talk about that either on this call. But Jennifer does the bestseller stuff. She's working with Kelly on this secret project, and she's also in the process of, she's actually been spending a long time. We're creating a project management system so that when a book comes into us, we're much more able to keep an eye on things, because we have a large volume of books that
it'll freeze and it'll tell me I'm unstable.
That's a great way to leave that one. I have no words. So Jen is doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for us, which is incredible. And I'm just looking around. Anne is here. She's our graphic designer. She is incredibly creative. She's instrumental in all of our designs, especially our book covers, our logo, and she's doing a new logo for the ladies too, which I'm excited for her to share with us. But thanks for joining us on the call today, Anne.
Thanks for the kind words.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Colin, I don't know if anyone has really had much chance to meet you, Colin. Colin is probably the second longest. You're not an employee, but the second long. I think you, Jen, and I have been with Hasmark or working with Hasmark for about 12.
Oh, yeah.
10, 12 years.
At least 12, I think.
I mean, that says enough in your talent. Colin is a web designer, but he's far more than that, because in all of the years of doing business, I've never had anybody stay with us as long as you have. And that says everything about your talent and your customer service. I probably would put your customer service as the best thing that you do, because without that, it doesn't matter how talented you are.
Well, communication is everything. And, if you don't reply real quickly and help people out, then then you're just like the rest of them. So I've enjoyed working with you guys. We've done lots of books together. We have.
The first one you did was a children's book, and you did the It's a Lovable Me, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Or I Am a Lovable Me.
I think it's something like that, but I can't remember. She had a whole line of toys for that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had the bug. He had the music clip going on it. So we opened the website, and it's a beautifully designed website. I mean, we're talking 12 years and hundreds of books later. I probably remember that one the most, because that's when I think we found you, was through that book. So anyways, thanks for joining. So everybody, has any questions for us, we're here for you. It can be about design, publishing, marketing, website, social media, branding, whatever it may be. So we're happy to answer any questions you have. And we can start with, and please feel free to raise your hand or put your question in the chat window. I'm just looking at the chat window myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a question that came into us pre-meeting, so at least we can get it going. So the first question that we received is, what is the fastest way you can create an author brand from scratch? Explain the phases, steps, roughly, do's and don'ts. That one would normally be Danielle Martin's, who would have answered that, but unfortunately she couldn't join the call today. So I think some of you might have met her. She's incredible. If you need branding, this girl is off the charts. She has taught me so much about branding Hasmark that I never expected. In fact, we're now running a whole series that Talida's helping us, and it's going to be all about the how-to. Questions that were asked through the publishing process and the marketing process. So we're running a series. We're going to be posting it, I think, once a week, right, Talida? The videos?
Once a week. We will answer a lot of questions about publish, marketing, social media, everything, website.
Exactly. She's making me do videos. Get that. She's got me on
She's making me do
TikTok. She's
videos.
making do videos. You like doing videos, though.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyways, back to the question. Jenna's going to help out by answering the question about the branding.
And these are not my words, so these are Danielle's, so I don't want to take credit for them. So I looks like I'm reading, and I absolutely am. So basically, the fastest way to create an author brand from scratch is already the first big don't. So when we are talking about building your brand, and this is where the majority of people fall short, because they think building a brand is about creating something superficial, when in fact it's precisely the contrary. So this is where incoherency happens, and where there's incoherency, there's no trust. So remember, building trust is the ultimate goal of any corporate or personal brand. So essentially, you don't want to be creating that very fast. You want to build something that's very meaningful. So first of all, every human being has a brand. So the goal is not creating a brand. The goal is to reveal your brand. So your brand is the mark you leave in people's minds and hearts. However, not everyone consciously and strategically manage it precisely because they don't know how they do it.
That's pretty important, though.
Yes.
We think we create a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's almost daily. I talk to authors on the phone, and that's what they think. They feel like they're creating the brand, never thinking that you're actually revealing it.
Right. I think that's a key concept too.
Just bringing
And I never
it to
thought of
life.
it that way before.
No, exactly. And then the fact that you got to remember that it's got to be everlasting. It isn't to say you can't change your brand and you don't evolve, because we've been with authors lots of time where their brand evolves. But when you start building it or revealing it, I should say, Danielle would slap me, when you start revealing it, realize how important that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did mention the second part as well. So the personal branding process, this will help you to become aware of the way you impact others, and it is done from the inside out. So through deep research, again, revealing what your brand is, not building it. The guidelines on how to efficiently and strategically streamline and manage your brand in a way you can become relevant and highly influential in your niche are revealed by the personal branding process. So Danielle's first step is doing the personal branding process, deep study, and that's how you understand what your strengths and taking advantage of them are. Learning how to manage to not sending out, learning how to manage not sending out mixed signals that will not help you to create your trust with your target niche. So learning how to not try to reveal some part of you and then changing it up and revealing something completely different, because that will create inconsistency within yourself. Gaining clarity about the niche you want to help, getting clarity in your message and crafting it in an impactful way, learning how to become more memorable, and much more.
I think that one's really, really important. It's to get yourself so that you are memorable. So that because you have such a short time to make an impact on somebody. So I don't think, again, everybody understands how important it is to be memorable. And when you're switching up all the time what your message is, you're not going to be memorable because you're going to confuse people, and confusion is going to cause them to go away.
Exactly. So you want to stay consistent, and that doesn't mean that you can't evolve, like you said, Judy. It's just not flip-flopping and different things. And with the last part of Danielle said is, once again, there are no shortcuts when we talk about impactful personal brands. There's a deep and structured work required if you want to create solid and lasting results. I'm sorry about my reading there. Of course, I haven't had my full coffee yet today.
We'll forgive you. You still did a great job, and you still got the message across.
Yeah.
Because
And long story. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Long story short, it just takes a lot of time. It's not something that can just be fast tracked and made within a day. It's something that you have to work on every day and keep working at to build that brand for yourself, especially like Colin, 13 years and has the greatest customer service we know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's part of his brand.
Yeah, absolutely agree that it is part of his brand. It's what kept him in business. It's what keeps, I mean, again, I can't say it enough. Referrals for business are the greatest thing, the greatest gift we are given as, I keep wanting to say entrepreneurs. And the fact that we have spent 12, 13 years sending you referrals, Colin, and Peggy's done it too. And Peggy's used many, many website developers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even sure if that's what I should be calling you, but that's what you do. I don't know if that's your official.
That's what I do.
Okay, good. But yeah, referrals are it, and making memorable marks. And that's what I remember about you by far the most. I probably, out of the hundreds and hundreds of websites you've built for our clients over the years, that I remember more than anything. So it just goes to prove that Danielle's point about memory, making something that's very memorable for the clients, for the, consumers.
True.
It's really, really important.
Yeah.
It
And
surpasses
so what
design.
makes something memorable is because it's different, right?
Yeah.
When it's the same, and even if it looks, wow, that's really good, but it's the same as everybody else, it's easily forgotten. But when it stands out as being quite different than everybody else, that's what you remember.
Yeah, have to be different, but have to be you. You don't have to be another
Right.
person at social media and branding. Yeah, I
Right.
totally-
And easily everyone on this call is an individual. Easily everyone on this call is completely different.
yeah,
And so it's about revealing that difference.
Yeah.
And that's what you highlight, I guess. Now I'm talking for Danielle. What do I know? But how about branding? But still, that sounds like what she's trying to say. So,
But we're learning lots, though. Like I said,
Yes.
I thought we had a brand. And it's because of us finding Danielle and her coming to join the team that I understand now how much more it is than that. And even after I understood, I still wasn't taking the steps to get our brand out there the way I wanted to, even though we've had an incredible success. I just want to keep on climbing. I want more and more and more success because that's what's important, right? So, okay, I see Nancy asked a question in the window, and I know a lot of times you can't come on, although she just went visually off as well. I think she's at work, but it is recorded. So her question is, she's continually overwhelmed about where to begin with social media for her novel. There she is. I have a website I started, but that's where it sits. So I think to your point is, where do you start with social media? Is that right? Is that what you want to ask, Talita? And Jenna, anyone else can step in. And guys, everybody, even if you're listening in, please feel free to unmute your line at any time and come in and chime in, because we learn just as much from you guys as you guys learn from us. So,
I
but
think
anyways.
I can start, Talita, if you'd like. For building your social media and building, like starting with your website, I think it goes back to that personal brand again, where you really want to think about the messages you're putting out and why you're putting them out there, and really showing off who you are. So I think that's probably the number one step in thinking about social media. And then from there, the next step would be to focus on one. So creating almost like a structure for what you want to post based on the messages that you're trying to get out there. Talita, you might want to help me. But I think first and foremost, that is the biggest step, because it is really important thinking about the messages and who you're talking to and why.
And that goes along with what Rosalind wrote in the chat window to everyone. For me, branding is about thinking about the why I do what I do and thinking about how I do what I do differently than anyone else.
Correct.
Exactly.
So
I didn't even see that,
point.
Rosalind, and exactly that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I think
Thanks,
that
Rosalind.
you have to, first of all, trying to use your branding with your social media and try to construct like a strategy for your social media. And you can talk about your book. You can talk about a little bit about your life. You can talk, you have to build this strategy for your social media. And I know maybe will be a little bit hard to be in all social medias. So I think here in Canada, the most popular media, it's the Facebook and Instagram, and you can link both. So you can post at the Instagram and go to the Facebook, and you have to start. Will be a little bit hard. At the beginning, you will have a few comments, few likes, few comments, but you have to be constantly constant. Sorry. And you have
Constantly.
Yeah, thank you. And you have to just go, and every day you have to talk about your book. I think this is the key. You have to talk about your book. You are your marketing. Wherever I go, I will talk about Hasmark. That's the key. Even if I'm talking about, oh, sorry.
No, keep going. I was just going to say it's important to find out what works for you too. So
Yeah.
if something works for somebody else, that's okay. It doesn't have to work for you.
I think you said that you have a website. So take your cue from your website. Decide kind of the color story that you have on your website, the colors in your book, and when you're creating your social posts, use those colors, use what you've got on your website to make a consistent brand for yourself. Talita and Jenna said it perfectly. Start using your novel as what you're going to create your posts about, but to have a consistent look, a consistent logo, a consistent color story is very important, so people can start trusting you, recognizing you as the author, recognizing your novel in places, and just go from there. And definitely creating a consistent strategy, just like Talita was saying. So you want to decide, if you're going to stick with just Facebook, how many times per week do you want to post? Decide if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then consistently post Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you start gaining a following and people that trust you and are going to expect your posts Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then start learning a little bit about tagging and hashtags and how you can start building a bigger audience. I think that's a great way to start as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of color, we've brought a color psychologist onto the team. So just so anybody, if you're unsure about what colors to create, we do have somebody. So, because I think it is important, the colors that we start to use, and it doesn't necessarily have to align to your book cover. because again, the branding is about you. It's not just because the chances are, as a writer, usually once we got one, and you can ask Kelly this, she'll confirm, once you start writing the one and you get it out, you want to do another one.
We have
So-
a previous coffee chat on that with Angela, the color psychologist, and there was a lot there to learn. So you may want to go and check that out as well.
Good point.
But I was going to just say that Nancy brought up an interesting point about Facebook. So many of us have our personal Facebook pages that we post, you know, whatever is going on in our lives and stuff that has nothing to do with our book, or it's really personal stuff, really has nothing to do with business. And one of the things that we always say is to from an author's point of view, you want to have an author page or an author Facebook page, much like a business type page, which is very different, and it's sort of in addition to your personal page. So it's not really a problem that you have a personal page and whatever's on it is irrelevant. So your whole history is irrelevant unless somebody looks you up specifically. But really, you're posting and you're dealing with your Facebook author page, and that author page is where you'll do your Facebook lives. That's where you're going to talk about your book releases or things coming up and such. And those posts can be shared on your personal page, and of course anybody else's. That's how that really works, and that's what you kind of want to do. So yeah. There.
And the greatest thing about, I saw Toledo showed me this, that the greatest thing about like Instagram and Facebook is that I get it at first, there's your history. And there's things on there that it's not creating traction, or you're not proud of it. If it's just that it doesn't create traction,
Right.
Just start creating new content, and slowly the history starts to move down, because that's the beauty of Instagram and Facebook. History moves. And now suddenly, like our Instagram account's finally starting to get traction, because you showed that exactly to me, is if it's visually appealing, it attracts people. But the old stuff starts to go. I didn't have to remove it. We just allowed it to go into the history, into the older files archive. I like what Sandy said in the chat window. It's going back to branding. When we started on this journey with the Farties, we had a saying, we are authors of Meet the Farties, a family of little cartoon talking butts. See, I love that because it evokes laughter. I think that's fantastic. That line started up a whole conversation as people are interested in what we're talking about. See, that's the other thing, is to cause intrigue or cause conversation or cause laughter. You cause emotion, basically the message there.
You know, we're talking about social media, and marketing is a big kind of black hole as well for what goes on in an author's business. And I think websites are kind of taken for granted. Of course, we have a website, and I really would like to maybe get Colin's take on this. What are the kind of main things that an author would or should have on their website? Like what are the important
basic things? Like, you know, the first thing people want to know about is about the author, where they come from, what their day job is.
See, everybody thinks the first thing they want to know is about the book.
Yeah.
I find that branding is the same thing. It's about you, the author. People want to know more about you than you think they do. I love that you started
Good
that.
point.
Sorry, keep going, Colin.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I just think the people are curious about other human beings, and so they're going to go and look at the person first. If they like what they see about the person, then they're going to look at the book, about the book. But you know, those are the basic things that are about the author, about the book. If you have endorsements, that's a great place to put them on another page. And of course, contact. That's your basic 5 things that you need on there. And I always like to put something on the front page that is kind of like a summary of the whole website. It's going to have a little bit about the author, a little bit about the book, with read more buttons. So someone can get a really quick idea about what this person and book is about, just from the front page. And that's what's going to get picked up also from on Google. But you know, if you know how it is when you go to a website, you will hit that back button so fast. If you find nothing interesting, or if you know something you think is the person you don't like, you're going to hit the back button really quickly. So you want to engage them really quickly with mostly images and possibly video, just to get people to stay on the website or just go in a little further to learn more.
It's funny, Colin, you said talking about the author, about the book, about video, those are exactly what your social media posts should be as well.
Yep.
So
Whoa.
you can literally take what you have on your website and create a series of posts about the author, a series of posts about your book, a series of posts about the different videos that you've created for your website, about endorsements, about reviews. And so what you have on your website is an extension to what you can put on your social media. So it's all encompassing.
Yeah, but what I find hard about social media, I don't partake in it personally. But you know, when you look at someone doing social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, whatever, you've really got to be yourself. And if you try to act salesy, people will notice it right away. So you can't just go out there and try and sell something. You just talk about you, your book, and then people will follow or they don't. But if you start saying, well, you know, right now, because I mean, this is how we used to have sales pages years ago. There was some hard sell techniques, and it used to work, I think, originally. But now people see right through that.
Yeah, the statistics are 90% sharing, 10% selling for social media.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think another great tip that Anne always talks about, sorry to put you on the spot, Anne, but she always tells me that it's really important to put yourself in the shoes of either your reader or the consumer, and really take out that perspective first as well, because of course you can put out all of this information, but it's really important to just look at it how somebody else would see it first, because they don't know all of the things that you know about yourself. They only know what you're giving them. So, or what's on your cover, or what's on your back cover of your book. So it's really important that you're always putting yourself in their perspective to see if, am I being too salesy? Am I being too overwhelming, or not giving them enough information at all? that sort of thing.
I would like to say that I also found success. I think it was a coffee chat. I'm here for the coffee chats, let me tell you.
Awesome. Thanks, Rosalind. So
during-
happy you joined us.
Yes. I think Kelly, when she was speaking during one of her coffee chats, she talked about doing a virtual book tour. And one thing I realized is that as my readers start getting the books in their hands, they didn't realize that it was a devotional. And so I took the opportunity to do a little virtual book tour. It was a minute-long video. And I got so many kind of people who bought the book just from taking them through that virtual book tour. So thank you, Kelly, for like that suggestion. Because it helped the reader know. They thought that it was this book that you could read, you know, you read from front to back. And I'm like, oh, you jump around. And I gave like one of the inspirations behind one of the words. So it's just like those little nuggets that they can't read on the paper. Oh my goodness, they eat that up.
Okay, you need to explain this to us a little bit more. So you, I see Coach McGriggy shaking his head. Yes, I agree, because it's kind of unique, because we think because of COVID, with everything shut down, it's like, oh, we're just not going to do book signings. Like that's where everybody's gone in the world right now. But I love hearing virtual book tour. And that's why we wanted you to come on the call, besides, you know, to share with us, what exactly did you do for your virtual book tour?
Well, the one that I'm referencing is I literally just kind of held up my book and told them, you know, like walked them through my endorsements, my table of contents, and what
in a video. Is that what you did?
Yes, in just like a 1 minute little video. And it just helped people really understand. If you have a children's book and you're doing a virtual reading, which Kelly has talked about as well, that's a great way. But the actual book signing I did this weekend, they were like those were face to face.
Face to face.
Yeah.
So for the virtual book tour, so let's talk about that first, then we're going to go to your book signing. So the virtual book tour, you basically, that's what's amazing. A lot of the best things are simple.
Oh,
It's your whole message of Power of One, right? It's simple. It doesn't need to be this complex structure to it. So I love the fact that you created a video and then you began, well, how did you get it shared?
I did it on, listen, the live scares the you know what out of me.
You do amazing though. So that's funny that that bothers you.
Yeah. So I pre-recorded the video, like, take as many takes as you want. My husband just kind of sat with the camera. It was a minute long because there is I think, I can't remember who said, maybe it was Dave, there's a very short window to kind of capture someone. In fact, data shows it's only 7 seconds.
Yes.
So it's, so I just did a 1-minute video of just walking them through my book. Because when you look at any of our covers, it's just titles and an author's name.
Yeah.
So this was a way to get them to really know what the book was about.
I love it, this video. And I think the persons feel like more closer for you. And then that's because oh, she's nice. She have a beautiful book. I wanted to buy. I like her. I saw your histories. I saw your photos. I saw everything about your life and your book. It's amazing. I love it, this video.
Thank you.
And that's what happens though, is because you connected with your audience and then your audience says, I want more.
Yeah.
So that's what else is rather important. And that's the websites and the social media, is to ensure that you have more to go to, that people can go find out more about you, because now we've heard about your book. And the interesting part now will be, I want to hear more about this lady. Who is this person behind it?
And, I think people always ask questions. They'll DM you with a question, they'll direct message you, or they'll text you. Take that question to on a Facebook Live or IG Live. Like someone asked me about, and this is a question for all of you, is there an audio book? I don't read. Rosalind, do you have an audio book? I don't even know. I was like, no, but I was able to explain it's available on Kindle and it's available in paperback. So even though it seemed like a simple question, I'm like, let me just make a video of that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's a really good
alternatives.
idea.
I love the simplicity of the way you're answering and of the way you're handling it. Because you still can do an audio book, but that 1-minute video, look at that, because you're right.
I'm noticing a theme going on here. It started with what Colin was saying about when that front page of your website should just be a little taste of what's inside. And if you like what you see, then you can go in. And that's something that, the viewer or the visitor can judge very quickly when they see what they like, right? And so now you're putting out a little preview of what's inside your book. And you can get a taste very quickly. And watching videos is always better than reading a lot of anything. So if you can get a little taste of what's inside the book, you also get to know the author a little bit and get to hear them talking. So that adds a lot of instant recognition and appeal for the reader or the would-be reader buyer, So this is what I'm hearing from what everybody else is saying, and the branding and everything else, and even the colors and all that stuff. It gives you that first impression.
Well, the nice thing is you might have posted that on, say, Facebook, but it can go multiple places.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it too. Put it on your website, put it in all of your social media channels. Yeah. I got caught on that one recently because I think, oh, well, you make a 1-minute video, it can go everywhere. Yeah. Talita taught me that, you got to do it a little different, all the different places. So.
Yeah. And to further what I was saying, so that's what Anne does with the book covers, right? Because people do judge the book by the cover. And so it's that instant recognition, it's that instant branding, it's that instant appeal, and that instant judgment whether or not I want to buy that book.
The other thing is, people say never judge a book by its cover, and it's completely the opposite. Because really, we all judge a book by its cover. And I try to go for the emotion and the message, and obviously the author's vision. But sometimes the author's vision is a little bit muddled and they're not quite sure, or they're trying to put too much information on that front cover. And a lot of times it's, again, that simplicity is what's going to drive the audience to pick up your book, because you want to have a little bit of intrigue. If you give them the whole, every one of your thoughts on the front cover, there's no intrigue. There's no reason to pick up that book and flip it to the back to see about the author or about what the book is about.
Yeah, good point. If you've given them the solution, I have no reason to pick it up. I already know my answer. Next. That's exactly what I would do. So yeah, good point. Excellent point. Absolutely. And Rosalind, you said you did a book signing. How was that? How did you do that during COVID? Although you're one of the lucky ones, I think, in a state that, is kind of open.
It is. For sure, Florida is an open state. I think probably like Texas with Nancy, but I was quite impressed with, you have to be creative in regards to doing book signings, because many of the traditional bookstores just aren't open. They're doing only virtual. And so there was a restaurant, it was a cafe, and we just had kind of this perfect alignment. And he opened it up and I was able to have people come there and purchase books, and I signed the books. And then he offered them 20% off if they were there for the book signing. So that was, and spread it through social media. The other one was at a farmer's market. And I thought that's kind of a weird idea, but okay, let's try it. And it worked out perfect. Obviously able to be social distant and had our mask on, but the ability to be outside and to interact with readers, introduce the book to other readers at a farmer's market, not a flea market, but a farmer's market, big difference there. It just was a perfect opportunity and made for a perfect Mother's Day weekend. I strategically wanted it to be before Mother's Day because I wanted to really focus on the gifting season of Mother's Day and graduations. And so that's why the date, Friday and Saturday. But it was beyond my wildest expectations for sure.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yes.
So you made the content. I love that both were very different. One's a restaurant, one's a market. So I love that they're that diverse, but you actually had to have purchased your author copies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So there's a whole process behind. You want to make sure that you have your author copies, and you want to be able, I wanted to be able to give them something besides just the book, right? Because you can get that on Amazon. So
I love
I
that.
had
That one's
there
an
was
important one.
Yeah, there was this gold seal that I put on that says author copy, autographed copy.
Autographed copies.
So
Yes.
it felt like a kind of certified, authentic copy. I made bookmarks, postcards. I had my media kit out there. So there was just a lot of other information to justify them wanting to actually come out and be at the book signing.
And it's funny because I've always said that out of all of the years and the hundreds and hundreds of books that I've received, the books that are here in my office now are the ones signed. I've said it to authors through the years. Don't ever take a copy of your book and hand it to somebody without your signature in it. Because it's the most special gift I can get. And I agree with the gifting of books. I really, really encourage it. Do you know how unique that is? It's kind of sad being an author and realizing we don't gift. Like, we don't think we're going to a baby shower. I remember doing that one year. We went to a baby shower and we brought books. And everybody's like, wow. And I remember a post this past weekend about gifting books to people, and they said, never even thought of it. I thought, I know, like, to take it to a birthday or baby shower or whatever the occasion might be. It's an incredible gift to give people.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the most valuable gifts you can give people is that. So I love that your book sign, that you took the initiative, you found a restaurant, the restaurant owner, because it's a win-win for both of you.
Absolutely.
So great advantage for the restaurant owner because you're driving traffic. Even bookstores, we had an author that wanted his book to do a book signing in the store, and the store said, okay, guarantee me that you're going to bring 50 people. And he did. I think he ended up with like 150 people that came out. But it's a win-win for the establishment because you're driving traffic into it. And I think now that especially the States more than Canada, sadly, are starting to come out of COVID, we can start getting into the public now with our books. We can start arranging to have them, get the book signings going again. But I love the idea of virtual book signing too. I think that's a phenomenal idea. I actually thought about what we could do since we are in lockdown or we're not able to get out as much is even do like a signature page too. It's not as good as the actual signing of it, but that's something else we could do. We have one of, I think Tom's book is releasing this Friday, and he actually has a virtual signature in his book. We had his signature. We took his signature and put it inside the book, right, Anne? Did you do that? Tom's book? No.
I think it's on the title page.
Yeah, I don't recall doing that.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I believe it's his title page.
It's on his title page, and he also he has an initiative in his book, which I think is really great. Kind of what we were talking about, gifting. There's lines in the book, so it's kind of like read it forward. Once you read it, give it to someone that you think that they would need it as well, and write your name in it. So it's kind of like continuing to pay that.
Oh, I ever like that one.
That what's that word? The gratitude and the meaning of the book forward.
Mm-hmm.
Do I ever like that?
Yeah,
So
that was pretty cool. He's got lines in there for you to write your name, or like two.
Would that be cool though? How many times through the years have I gotten book from other people pre-COVID, but books from other people? I've never known who has paid it forward. And that's pretty awesome because it's like one of those chains. So it's not as if it's money or anything. So it's still good to do it. But how fun that would be is put your name and where you are and wonder how far your book could travel.
That could be a great social media strategy too. Read it forward, put your name on it, tag someone that's just read it, and tag someone who you're going to have read it next.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Yeah.
Because and being an entrepreneur, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, but that means I didn't get a sale. But the thing is that if you've done the book right and there's information about you, chances are they're going to come to your website, check you out, and then want to get to know you more. And if you're selling courses, or then I'm going to buy, like if I've got a friend, then because I've enjoyed it, I'm going to buy a physical copy and gift it then. So there's so much that you can do with that. I just love it. I love ideas like that.
Yeah.
I love being creative. I guess, is there any more questions anyone has?
Nancy brought up a good point, and I think this is maybe for Talita to answer. It's about Facebook. So the question is, should your author's Facebook page look like your website?
Doesn't have to be the same, but you have to use your brand, your same color. You have to look your website and look your social media, Facebook, Instagram, and like, oh, remember, this is Nancy page. Everywhere you have to like connect all your pages, website, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, if you want to have.
Sure.
But you have to connect this. You don't have to use the same colors, but you have to like mix all the colors of your branding. And I think this is the answer. If you saw Hasmark website, it's not the same at the Facebook or the Instagram, but if you saw the Instagram or Facebook at the Hasmark Facebook and Instagram, you know it's from Hasmark.
You'd still recognize it.
Yeah.
So she's a little bit busy right now. She can't answer, but
a good way to think of that is you have like a corporate or your own identity, but you're under an umbrella. So you basically have a global look. And what you want to do is you can then pool that out and take bits of that for various parts. But recognition from the audience is that they might see, whether it's the color of, you know, a logo or a book cover or whatever it is that you're putting out there, or even your message, they're going to see a consistency or a connection. And that's really all that that's about. So you want to have that connection there between all your various formats or all your different platforms. And it doesn't always have to be, you don't have to use, like Talita said, you don't have to have the exact same colors every time, or, you know, everything doesn't have to always look like it's, I mean, repetition is good for branding because you want people to start to recognize something as a quick read. You want to, as soon as they look at something, they're going to know immediately, oh, that's a Hasmark thing, because I can tell it's Hasmark because it's consistent. So the consistency needs to be there, but certainly look at it as a global look or an umbrella. And then you can pull out different parts to it, just like Talita said. So some people are confused by understanding what parts can I use. Well, you can use any parts. It's consistency.
There is a banner on Facebook. So when you first pull up your Facebook account, there's this banner. And the rule of thumb is, if you can maintain it, to change it every 2 weeks. So you can start with an image that's directly on the main page of your Facebook. 2 weeks later, you can rotate it to something else and rotate it to something else. So you start linking all of your platforms together, and then you don't have to have it the same. So every 2 weeks, you can change it to something completely different, like you holding your book or a picture of your main Facebook page. And then 2 weeks later, it could just be something else, and you can be doing different colors, keeping a consistent look within all of your profiles. Does that make sense? I think I just rambled.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Nancy says, I really like that, Kelly. I agree.
Thank you.
I think it was perfect. The other one of the questions that came in ahead of time was, what should I do to start getting traffic? To me, if I was beginning, I would be me too. It's, I'm here, but
I would
Kate?
say I mean, Toledo can answer this way better than I can, but it's consistency. It's going to be slow to start, and that's just kind of the expectation. But until you are consistent and you start building your audience, and I mean, it can be really slow, but it's patience and consistency, and that's how you build it. It's how you use your hashtags. It's how you use your tagging, and that's how you start building your audience. But Toledo could probably answer it way more.
We can use some, it's not, we don't have any magic to the website traffic, but we have some tips for this. We can use Facebook advertising, but you have to spend you have to choose few or a lot of money. And this can create a lot of traffic for your website. So you can boost like a post at Facebook, at Instagram, and this can really grow your website and generate a lot of traffic for your website. It's not a easy thing to do. I think Colin knows this better than me. It's a little bit hard because you have to do like ADS for the Facebook and put pixel at the website, and after this you can generate a little bit more traffic for your website. I think Jenna knows this too.
I was going to say, I think reciprocated engagement is also really important. So if someone comments on your post, or if you have 1 or 2 followers right now, that's fine. Just make sure that they know that they are welcome there, responding to comments, liking, asking them to share, because if they're sharing your content, if you're putting out content that they're willing to share, that will then go to their network, which will in turn build yours if those people agree with what you're saying or your message. So it's always really important to have like that kind of reciprocated engagement, liking, commenting, sharing something that you believe in from your network as well, because that's just how it starts to build that community or build that online presence for you with people that share the same, oh my goodness, values and the same kind of content that they want to see. Same with, oh my goodness, what was I going to say? It'll come back to me in just a second.
And what Jenny is saying, this is our organic traffic. It's like one by one.
Yes.
And knowing all your target audience. It's like organic with spend no money. So
exactly. You don't want to, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
It's like quality over quantity. Like you can have 100,000 followers, but if they don't really care about what you're saying, if they don't care about your brand or your community or your message, it's not the same as if you had 100,000 followers as opposed to like 50,000, where they all care about your message and are sharing and engaging with your content, because then you know that what you're putting out there is meaningful, and it's just really more about the quality as opposed to how much or how many.
Quantity. Yeah. There's also different ways, different places that you're driving traffic you're trying to build also. And there's a couple things. One is important too, is a call to action in your posts. Because just what you said, if you're going to create a post, it isn't just, you can just have it there and it's a feel good. Like I do it all the time just on my own page, but they don't get much traction or interaction. And I know that, and I'm okay with that on my own personal page. But if I'm expecting to grow my business pages, I have to have a call to action. I want to engage the reader. So just what you say, you want them to comment, or you want them to like, or you want them to share, whatever the action is, but you got to engage with them. And usually it's by creating emotion. The other thing is, not only is it about getting them to connect on your social media, but also getting them into a newsletter, like getting into a subscriber list, which it's very important that comes from your website.
Yeah. Yeah. As Judy was saying about the call to action, an easy way to do that is also to ask a question. So get people to answer an interesting or fun question. And that's another good way to get interaction. And then you can sort of validate that, right? The reciprocation that Jenna was talking about. You get back and if they comment, you reply every time.
Yeah, exactly. I see we're coming to the top of the hour and we've already begun to lost a few people, which is understandable completely. So I think out of respect for time, we'll yeah, actually, it's funny you said that about ask them photos of their pets. My goodness. The interaction that gets created from things like that. Do you know that when it's personal too, like that, like showing cats, people relate to it because we are human beings. Sometimes we forget that. We tend to be kind of like robotic in posts, and that's what we got to not be. So seeing posts about cats or dogs, or, asking them questions though. What I find is sharing the books, like pictures from around the world. Rosalind said earlier, she's got someone reading it in Netherlands. Sharing pictures of your book read by other people. That's fun. When we announce employees, we get a lot of reaction. When we post pictures of our cats or dogs, we get a lot of reaction. Kids get a lot of reaction. So don't be afraid to get out there and share. But this has been incredible, guys. We've really, really appreciated today's call, and hopefully we've given you some little bits of nuggets of gold. And please, at any time, reach out to us. We're always here for you. You can find us at hasmarkpublishing.com, and we do thank you. So thank you, everyone. Bring your pet to Facebook Day. Yeah, Dave just sent me that message. I like that. Actually, that would be pretty fun. There's a movement for you.
I think so too. Yeah.
Join our next coffee chat.
Yeah, exactly. Our next coffee chat is about.
It's on the 26th, and it is with Karen Glasser, and it's about evergreen assets. So it's really important. It's a really great topic, and I think everybody here should also join.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love to see you guys. So thanks for joining us today. Have an incredible day. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.